Grab a coffee. Come on in. Welcome back. We've got 1 hour until the main show, and I've got some really cool stuff to go over to get us in the mood for today's Ancient Manuscripts show over on KBS. So I'll be with you in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. There we go, there we go. I'm not going to make you wait today, no. 11 on the view count, that'll do me. It's only our pre-show stream, and the pre-show stream is totally chillaxed. It's a mixture of chilling out and relaxing, and it's nothing serious. Just gets me warmed up for the main show, and it's somewhere where we can come and hang out and escape the crazy for a little while, right? Right? Because we always need to escape the crazy. Oh, yes, indeed. And I tell you, I don't know. I have turned day into night. I am struggling to reset the body clock. But Annie is off tomorrow. Annie is off. So I'm hoping, you see, she still has a normal schedule. She is up during daylight hours and goes to sleep at the right time. And you know, all that kind of normie type stuff. So I'm hoping Anne can reset my body clock tomorrow so I can get back into a far more productive mode. Oh, I'm telling you, this staying up all night and sleeping all day, it's no good. It's no good for you out there because I'm not 100%. But I will be for the show today. Don't you worry about that. And I tell you, we're going to be getting into documents I've never even heard of before. I had the idea of talking about this on the show because I was reading a book and it mentioned the Voynich document, and that's a total head scratcher. It really is. So I thought, well, there must be other documents out there, right? Oh boy, what I uncovered today. We're going to get into all of that with Jimmy Jeans in less than an hour from now, okay? And Polly, I see that you're wanting to send some music files. See, this is the thing. I'm not even in Discord as much anymore because of the sleep pattern, because I'm taking... What was that, Anne? All I do is sleep. You see, it's like I'm having a miniature hibernation. Something is coming down the pike, folks. Something's coming at us, and my body, my subconscious is picking up on it. And I'm catching up on a lot of sleep now, even though I've got the time of day wrong. But yeah, Polly, I'll message you on Discord, and probably best to send it through there, man. Berry and Jean... Jen, sorry, Berry and Jen. I'll get it right this time, Jen. What else we got in here? Orange Head, aka Polyfraud. And if you would like to have your name in green, like Orange Head, and Polly would be in green as well, but he's a mod. Just click the join button. I religiously, yes, religiously, do a live stream for the members on a Sunday. I think we have a good time over there on a Sunday. It's something different. It's where the VIP suite, as I call it. But yeah, obviously no pressures, folks. If you want to become a member, it's down below. There's ZX. There's Donnie. I still can't decide if Donnie's fallen out with me in the show or not. He's just asking why now. Just why. I'm only joking, yeah, Donnie. I'm only joking. We got Z Troy in there. How you doing? Through the Aether. Polly, Vincent, big shout to you, Vincent. You were number 3 today in the chat room. Congrats. John Nelson coming in for a cheeky number 2. And first, yes, Polly Nation. Polly, you're getting really quite good at this first nonsense. And it is nonsense, but nonsense good, right? We like a bit of nonsense about here. So I've got my coffee. I hope you've got your coffee. We're going to take a look at a time-traveling train. What a story this is. And we're also going to take a look at potentially some new pyramids emerging from beneath the sands of time out in Saqqara. Yeah, we keep going back to Saqqara, don't we? Seems to be coming up a lot in the past year or so. More Ron. Right on, Kev. 3 days hibernation so far myself. Body feels like a major weather change. Yeah, exactly, Polly. I've got no sense either. On a good day, I've got little sense, and good days aren't. They're not good. But yeah, more Ron. When I sleep like this, I convince myself it's because there's something coming at us. Italy. Donnie just says Italy. This is some kind of bush telegraph code that I'm not picking up on. But let's get into our first story today, right? Because we're going to deal with a bit of time travel, a bit of transport. And it makes me think of a certain Malaysian aircraft that took off one day and never appeared again. Remember that? Well, we're going to go back in time for this one. This is way back in time. Well, not way, way back. I made that sound a bit more dramatic than it is. But I hadn't heard of this story. And it's the bizarre tale of a vanishing time-traveling train. So you ready to get into a bit of this? I'm certainly ready to get into a bit of this. Here we go, troops. Hit share, please. Hit like, hit dislike. Be active in the chat room. Leave a comment. It all helps the algorithm, ladies and gents. It really does. It helps more than you know. So then we go to the mysteriousuniverse.org for this one. Big shout out to the team over there. And like I say, this is a really, really interesting one, folks. If we come down here and it says, it seems that anything at all can go missing without a trace. Missing 411, that type of thing. Did you think a train would become missing 411, did you? Stick with us. I have written extensively on vanished people, vanishing planes, and even vanished nukes. The word seems to have a way of sometimes just, or the world seems to have a way of just sometimes swallowing people and things up. Yet among these many stories, some stand out as particularly odd. And that's where we come in, right? We love the odd. Pushing past the boundaries of mundane possible answers and lodging themselves firmly into the world of the woo, ladies and gentlemen, the world of the woo. One such case, I'll blow this up a bit, that has made the rounds talking about a whole train, and that not only disappeared without a trace, but also seemingly managed to go travelling around time and space. Wow. Now that sounds like very similar to the type of stuff you get into when you're talking about the Philadelphia experiment as well. Only this one's weirder, because bear in mind, they were trying to mess about with space and time and stuff like that, the Philadelphia experiment. In this instance, people just got on a train back in 1911. So it says the most common version of this strange story begins on June 14th, 1911, with a new high-class luxury train built by the Italian railway company Zanetti. For its maiden voyage, the new train was to pass through scenic landscapes and through the longest tunnel ever built in Europe to that point, which passed through Lombardy Mountain. And in order to commemorate the event, the company invited 100 guests to take a ride along with 6 employees. Now, there was a lot of fanfare when the 3-car train departed Rome, Italy, and the well-equipped train, with its opulent cars and sumptuous food service, was widely played up at the pinnacle of comfort, as the pinnacle of comfort, and the future of rail travel. But things were about to get very, very strange. Oh, you could say that. You could say it. And I think now I realise why Donnie was shouting Italy random in the chat room. Donnie, are you picking up? Are you doing the Bush Telegraph thing with me? You are, aren't you? I know you are. I'm going to come back into the chat and about it. Donnie, you got to ask when you're going into my head, man. Come on. Some cognitive liberty, dude. I'm only joking, Donnie. According to the story, the train begins its journey without incident. Way! Oh, what's happening there then?
High miraculous perfection of unique individualism. I love universe. Share the giggles.
Oh, thank you very much, Kevin. No, I'm really, really confused because It didn't appear on the screen, and it really, really should have. So I'm going to try and play that again. There we go.
High miraculous perfection of unique individualism. I love universe. Share the giggles.
Oh, Kevin is going to be with us on Freaky Friday again this week. Really looking forward to that. So it says then, let's get back to it, right? According to the story, the train began its journey without incident, with all the wealthy passengers very happy with the experience until it reached that expansive tunnel through the mountain. Now the train barreled into the gloom, and on the other side, curiosity seekers and reporters waited for it to go speeding out. But it apparently never did. So you've got all these people waiting for this train. You know, you can picture it back in the day. You know, very exciting. New train, whoosh, flying through the Alps. Only no train emerges. Wonder if it was anywhere near that Goddard tunnel near CERN that they were digging out. I'm just saying. I suppose that would depend whether Lombardy Mountain is anywhere near that kind of region, right? The train barreled into the gloom. Okay, we got that. After some time had passed, with no sign of the train exiting, it was assumed that there had been a problem and that perhaps the train had broken down or had an accident in the tunnel. Authorities organised a team to go and take a look, yet they walked through the tunnel's entire half-mile length, searching every inch without seeing no train. Gone. Just away. Not only was the train not there, but they could find absolutely no trace that it had ever been there at all. Now, thinking that it might have just passed out the other end without anyone seeing it, which is really an extraordinary claim unto itself, right? Witnesses at the scene were interviewed, but they insisted that there's no way they could have missed the train leaving the tunnel, and that it had simply never appeared. And then the story gets even weirder. As the search continued, authorities found 2 dazed passengers from the train wandering around in quite a confused state with slight injuries. The 2 passengers explained that they had jumped off the train in a panic after some weird events. This is very like the Philadelphia, isn't it? According to them, just before the train entered the tunnel, there had been a loud, low buzzing noise and then sudden milk-white fog that crept out of the darkness and swallowed the train like a wave. Now, shiver me timbers. Let me pause there. Me and Scott Lopez, we usually start giggling at this point, and we'll go, Scotty, Kev, see? The mist. This almost electrically charged, static-filled fog mist. This is just, it's beyond, it's like beyond random. It can't just be a coincidence that every time, or the majority of the times we read about Sasquatch or something weird happening in the forest, missing 411, Bermuda Triangle type stuff, missing time, lost time, and now a train just disappeared, and we've got that staticky mist comes down. Is that how it looks when the veil's been ripped?
Choo choo Wookiees.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Polly. Much appreciated. You guys and girls are awesome, you know that? So, wow, this is getting good, right? As soon as this had happened, the passengers, who up until that point had been enjoying themselves, erupted into a panic, which is when they decided to take their chances and jump. Now, this is all pretty bizarre, right? But it gets even stranger still. Say it isn't so. Apparently, those looking for answers as to what happened to the train have ended up turning up some odd accounts that seem to suggest that something outlandish was going on. One of these was a curious report from over 400 years previous from a monk in Medina who wrote of having seen a large metal tube with people in it dressed in strange clothes. Then, in Mexico in 1845, there was a report in which a psychiatrist wrote that his hospital had received a group of 104 Italians dressed in unusual clothing, all of them in a state of confusion and hysteria, who had claimed they were from Rome and had arrived on a train. Now, one of these mysterious people apparently had a tobacco box engraved with the year 1907 and supposedly still on display somewhere in Mexico. Now, in 1955, an old fashioned 3-car train was reportedly seen chugging along near Zavalichi, a small village in Ukraine, with a railway worker saying that the mysterious train had been completely silent and had hit several chickens. Say it, don't tell Popeye. In that same year, the mystery train was seen again in the city of Pune in the Indian state of Maharashtra. Now, with witnesses explaining that they had seen passengers within wearing vintage old-fashioned clothing. What's going on here, folks? Did this train get not only uncoupled from the tracks, but uncoupled from space-time? It sounds like it's just like whizzing around, appearing here, there, and everywhere. It's like the time travel version of Snowpiercer, isn't it? A great show, by the way, if you're not watching Snowpiercer. Oh, fantastic. It says in 1991 it was seen again in Poltava, in central Ukraine, and the train has also reportedly been seen in Russia, Germany, and Romania, often reported as not even being on the tracks. They're just lost in time, circling around out there, jumping from timeline to timeline, dimension to dimension. Just having a big old party as they go. Well, I hope they're having a party. Maybe they're not aging because they're not in our dimension anymore. Maybe they're cheating. They're cheating death. They're just stuck. Squish, round and round they go, eh? Dang, dude. So what's going on here, it says? How could a whole train disappear? And how could it turn up in all these far-flung places up to many decades later, and even in different time periods of the past? Was it stuck in some sort of time loop, untethering itself from our reality to go careening through, off through the boundaries of time and space? The most sensible explanation is it's merely an urban legend, a sort of creepypasta, if you will. There's actually very little hard evidence to prove that any of it ever happened at all, and I've been unable to find any true historical documentation of this supposed vanishing train. Is this just an urban legend and fiction, or is there something more to it? Whatever the case may be, still a damn strange tale all the same. Let's say, hypothetically, it was true. I would imagine, in my speculation, that if something like this was true, and you had a totally inexplicable incident where you had this disappearing train, I would probably think an effort would be made to not talk about just what happened. I think of that aircraft that done something similar during our lifetimes, just disappeared. I've never thought about going back and checking throughout history for any reports of some similar type vehicle appearing to people in the past. The description we heard there of somebody seeing a metal tube filled with people in strange clothing. Yes, could be a train, but a tube could also be a plane. Do things get uncoupled from our time and space till they start floating around? Weirdness. High weirdness, right? And again, logically, Occam's razor, probably an urban legend. However, we deal in the woo here. We deal in the void, and there's definitely a void in there to be filled with lots of speculation. And again, I find it interesting that the location. Sure, we had my mist that I always get excited about, but you might not have really put two and two together about the tunnel, what it was going through. It's going through a mountain, ladies and gents. And we know from our Paleo American friends and First Nations peoples around the world that mountains are a lot more than the kind of thing that we just look at and want to climb. Hey, Z Troy, man. Don't stare at the eyes, Z Troy. Don't stare at the eyes. That's my Schrodinger's cat. He'll hypnotize you. So, yep, Z Troy, enjoy our emojis. We've got our own emojis if you become a member. I think we need about 10 more members and we get more emojis. We've still got to have Jimmy Jeans as a wizard. I'm looking forward to making Jimmy Jeans as a wizard. It's going to be like an easy, really easy Photoshop to do. But let me get a little drink of coffee. Let me say hello to my better half since she just came in from work. And I'll be back in a moment and we'll take a look at some new pyramid information. If we don't all disappear in the meantime. Hold on tight, folks. If you see the mist coming, oh boy. We're about ready to untether. We're out of here. Well, we're not. I'm coming back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. There we go, there we go, there we go. We're back, folks, we're back. Just speaking to my better half, boss. Okay, boss, okay, boss. So I call her the boss. Hey, I know my place, folks. It's all right. It's all right. I let her think. Shh, I let her think she's the boss. I'm ready for a shoe. I'm ready for a shoe any moment, folks. So listen, let's move on. Let's move on before I get shooed. Because you know how I love talking about Egypt and the pyramids and archaeology and all that type of good stuff. And yeah, I've got dreams of being Indiana Kev, raiding into these temples of doom. I'd probably get closer to the temples of womb than I ever do the temples of doom. But hey, oh, that's another story. But we've got new discoveries over under the sands of time in the pyramid in Egypt. Yes. I'm trying to listen to what's going on behind me. I'm a nosy bugger. There's a conversation going on. Trying to multitask here, but it's not happening. But anyway, pyramids. What if I was to tell you we're about to unearth or unsand? I know that's not a word, but I make things up as I go along, and you love it. Don't deny it. You love it. You love the Davisms and Kevisms. So, new discoveries over in Egypt, and we're going back to Saqqara. I tell you, I feel like I've been to Saqqara in the past year. We've talked about it that much, right? And don't forget, Jimmy Jeans is going to be coming up in just over half an hour over on KBS, and we're going to be going back in time and taking a look at some ancient mysterious manuscripts and documents, indeed. And one of them comes from Egypt, and it's something I'd never ever heard of before. So please join us for that. But this here, archaeologists claim to have found hidden pyramids under the Saqqara Desert. Whoa!
Polly, I see your choo-choo and raise you one crazy train. All aboard to Speculation Island.
You see, it's got to be a crazy train to get to Speculation Island, because neither have I built the island yet, definitely not a bridge there. Or are we, like, does this train go through a portal? Does it go to Grand Central Terminus, or Terminal, that new place at New York the trains leave? And is there a Stargate? that take. I don't know what the Stargate noise will be. Probably something like that. Yep. Okay. Now I'm just confusing myself. However, let's get back to this. It says an Egyptian archaeologist believes he discovered the site of a new pyramid after scanning the Saqqara Desert. Now, he believes he has found pyramids under the Saqqara Desert. Now, I've got a little problem with this, okay? It says, filled with tombs, the site served as the necropolis of the ancient Egyptian capital of Memphis, and is home to numerous pyramids, including the world-famous Step Pyramid of Djoser. Now, Dr. Vasco Dobrev has spent the last 3 decades researching this area, just 30 kilometers from the world's famous pyramids of Giza. A few months ago, his findings were revealed during the documentary Opening Egypt's Great Tomb, broadcast in the UK on Channel 5. He says, I've travelled more than 400 miles of Aswan, north of Aswan, but this is not a tourist visit, said Tony Robinson, host of the documentary. Dr. Vasco Dobrev has been working in the desert outside of Cairo for the past 30 years and is in search of a new pyramid. It says, we often only think of the famous pyramids of Giza, but this place called Saqqara has the first pyramid and many more. The pyramids have spanned 6 centuries of Egyptian history, but one dynasty of pharaohs in particular chose to build their magnificent tombs in Saqqara. He says Dr. Dobrev surprised Robinson by explaining how numerous pyramids could be hidden under the sand. He says there are about 120 pyramids around Egypt. The pharaohs built pyramids here because Saqqara is exactly the opposite. Is exactly opposite the Egyptian capital, Memphis, said Dobrev. Says, do you see this little pyramid? This is Pepe II. His father is here. His great-grandfather is behind him, and the whole family are close by. Now, you see a picture there, right? And the reason I said I've got a bit of a problem with this at the start is that I have very strong recollection of myself and Johnny Whistles, and I think Scotty Lopez as well, Joe Joseph, but definitely me and Johnny Whistles. We talked about something years ago, about potentially not just like one new pyramid being discovered under the sands of time, as I call it, but whole sprawling metropoli. Hey.
At Cannabis Resolution you can't see my Chulu view.
Excellent. They're having this is some kind of bidding war in the super chats. Hey, have at it, boys. Have at it. But yeah, I remember information about this emerging before. So I went looking today and I was right. This reminds me very much of a story. And we're going back here to 2014, ladies and gentlemen. 2014, there was a female, I want to say she was an archaeologist, but she may have just been a geologist. And she had undertaken,
PPP tub of bath water bought and paid for.
I'm actually planning on selling tubs of bath water, Z, if you're interested. If anyone out there is interested in my bath water, please get in touch. Hey, listen, have at it. If people want to buy it, who am I to stand in your way? Anyway, after that creepy little interlude, not really selling bathwater, folks. But hey, if people want to buy bathwater, I've got nothing against the people selling it. It's a capitalist world we live in, right? But I remember these pyramids, almost vast city complexes, been discovered under the sands of Egypt before. So we come over here. And I remember it being the BBC. And today I found it. Check this out. Now this is 18th of November 2014. And this was, if memory serves me correctly, early use of something called LiDAR. It's where you use the light instead of the kind of radio waves, and you get to see below the kind of surface of the ground. It's used in mining and it looks for deposits of minerals, metals, all that kind of stuff. But it says here I'm not going to read all of this, okay? It's just that when they're talking about this being a new kind of thing where they're thinking there's more stuff under the sand, no. And what really confused me about this one story here, folks, the 2014 one, was that when it came on to the BBC and came into the mainstream news, there was like a whole heap of hype around it. And then all of a sudden it just went boom. And you never heard anything else about it again, which piqued my interest, which made me think, they're not wanting the public to be talking about this just yet. They want to basically get a handle on what may be down there. That was my take. But it says, for the best part of 25 years, archaeologists Arlen and Diane Chase, slogged through the thick undergrowth in the west of Belize in search of an ancient city whose details had been lost to the passage of time and the decade of the jungle. Now the going was tough. Now I know this is talking about like Belize right now, but trust me, folks, it goes back to what I'm talking about. The going was tough, often requiring a machete to clear a path through the dense vines and creepers that blocked their way. Now, over time, their perseverance paid off as their hand-drawn maps began to reveal long-forgotten parts of the massive Mayan city of Caracol. It says, but the more the pair found, the more they realised the extent of what remained uncovered. It would take several lifetimes, they figured, to reveal the true extent of Caracol. Then, in 2008, they got talking to a biologist colleague at the University of Central Florida, where they worked. For years, he had been using airborne laser sensors, known as LiDAR, that's light detection and ranging, to map and study forests and other vegetation, and he suggested having a go. So in 2009, the pair packed up their machetes and hiking books and commissioned the National Centre for Airborne Laser Mapping to fly a twin-engine plane backwards and forwards over the treetops, firing pulses of laser light at the ground below. After a few weeks later, the pair got their first look at the results. So this is talking about when they first used it. Let me just pull this up here. Give me 2 secs, folks, and I'll find the relevant part for you. So we're not having to go all the way through it. Here we are. There we go. Found it already. So it says, read this here. Now archaeologists around the world are beginning to embrace the same technique, flying aircraft over everything from Stonehenge to patches of scrub in search of hidden treasures. Now, the findings are already beginning to challenge conventional theories and change our view of the size and the extent of ancient civilizations. But while some say we are on the cusp of a new golden age of discovery, it is also beginning to throw up difficult questions about the disappearance of ancient civilizations. Using technology in archaeological expeditions is nothing new. Techniques similar to those used in the offshore oil industry have been used for years by archaeologists on the ground to spot buried structures. Increasingly, archaeologists are using satellite photography with success, for example, increasing the number of structures in the Nile Valley, including, here we go, 17 new pyramids. In August, 2 more were found using images from Google Earth. Radar has even been used, famously uncovering vast new areas of the Cambodian temple complex Angkor Wat. I hate saying that. But LiDAR seems to offer several advantages. It is quick, relatively cheap, and can be used to map large areas very quickly, particularly those covered in dense vegetation. Now, if I come over here, BBC LiDAR pyramids, see if it's still got the report on here that I'm thinking of. No, it's not. That's the actual lady there. But there was a news kind of report. It's only a couple of minutes long. Well, point being, folks, point being, okay. We talk a lot on the show. We talk a lot on the show about the layers of history that are down beneath. And we talk a lot about the pyramids, right? And there's part of my mind, I speculate. I don't know, I wasn't there, okay? But part of me thinks that the Egyptians themselves, the ones that we say or are told built them, I think they excavated them. I think they found them in the desert as well. And I think there's so much still contained beneath the desert sands in Egypt that it would absolutely not only blow our minds, but rewrite the story of everything we think we knew about our past. And that's just one location. One location, whether it's Saqqara, whether it's the Nile Basin, whether it's around Giza, whether it's Göbekli Tepe, whether it's over in South America, you know, beneath the forest canopy where we still haven't seen, still areas we've really still undiscovered. But with all this new technology, it's almost like we can peel back the layers of the onion. We can start to see all of this vast, like I say, metropolis type buildings and structures and complexes in some place. And, you know, when you actually looked at the evidence that was gathered during this Egyptian survey with LiDAR back in the earlier in the 2000s, around 2013, 2014, we start to uncover as hundreds of pyramids that we've never seen before. Vast, vast swaths of desert that actually has what appears to be city plans, like ground plans, roads, buildings, walls, all just beneath the surface. Imagine the woo we could get to if we could scrape all of that back. Oh, I think if I had my time over again, I'd be like some kind of archaeologist dude. Absolutely. And I'd be probably wanting to use AI and stuff like that to assist me. Techno archaeology. You still need to get boots on the ground, though. It's all very well seeing all of this on our kind of graphical representations and the infographics that get put together. But we're still going to have to get there and start to uncover some of this stuff before we truly, truly get a full picture or a part of the fuller picture of what happened in our past. So I'm going to get a quick drink of coffee, and then I'm going to come into the chat for a little moment. Then I'm going to go and get Jimmy Jeans. And we're going to come at you with some ancient documents. Yes, and thank you to the super chatters. Wow. Don't worry, there's music coming. Don't worry. There we go. Thought I was going to have to sing to you there, folks. Nobody wants Kev singing. Or Dave. Or any one of my other personalities that haven't come out yet. You don't want them singing. John Nelson talking about Tartarian buildings. That's something I've taken a little look at. And I've listened to a few people talking about that stuff. It's interesting, very interesting. And whether it's Tartaria, that's the kind of idea I'm talking about. I think there's more than just the odd episode here and there, though, that we've either had hidden away from us or we've just literally totally no memory of. No remnant kind of made it over during whatever reset that was, because I think these resets happen a heck of a lot. Not to be all doomy and gloomy, but I think they do. Russell, that's a very good question, actually. That, is Dave Baker on vacation? I've just had to think. I'm just kind of looking around the house. I don't know. It's been a while. No, ZX, that's the problem, man. Cold turkey, dude. Cold turkey. I'm thinking clearly today. See what happens? I'm gonna have to get going real soon, folks. Let's see what the chat room's saying, though. Rotman's not having a good day. Rotman, come on, man. Turn that frown upside down, man. You can do it. You can do it. Many resets. Pyramid structures. Also look at Puma Punku. Down in Chile. Is it Peru? Chile? It's Peru, isn't it? Not sure. Those South American sites are every bit as interesting as Egypt. Every bit. In many cases, I would argue even more interesting. Definitely. You know what's down beneath, folks? What's down beneath? I remember one of the shows we done where we started looking at some of the mining operations that had happened down in South Africa. And then you had like these miners going down there, doing their thing, blasting away, only big cave-in. But not a cave-in into some natural cavern, a cave-in into an ancient mine. An ancient mine shaft that by rights really shouldn't have been there. Right, and then you start to wonder what was going on. What is going on? You know, I like myself a little audio book. Well, listening to a really good one right now. No, I don't get paid by Audible or Scott Sigler, unfortunately. But the book I'm reading or listening to is called Earthcore. Take a little listen to this, right? Deep below a desolate Utah mountain lies the largest platinum deposit ever discovered. $1 billion find. It waits for any company that can drill a world's record 3-mile deep mine shaft. Good start, right? But it gets better. Earthcore is the company with the technology, the resources, and the guts to go after the mother lode. Young executive Connell Kirkland, who's a bit of a douche canoe, by the way, is the company's driving force, pushing himself and those around him to uncover the massive treasure. But far beneath the surface, where the rocks are so hot they burn bare skin, something has been waiting for centuries. Waiting and guarding. Kirkland is about to find out firsthand why this treasure has never been unearthed. I don't know, it just kind of fits in with all the kind of woo that we like to speculate about here on KBS. When it comes to the ancient world, I'm very, very hesitant when people tell me they know exactly how it was. How can you know exactly how it was when we're never given the full pieces to the puzzle in the first place? None of us were there. As far as I'm concerned, there aren't any vampires old enough to remember the building of the pyramids the first time round, but I could be wrong there. So always keep that in mind. And sometimes it's the more outrageous ideas that you hear. They kind of like to start with you saying, oh, what are you talking about? But then over time when you open your mind, you start thinking about it. Well, you sometimes get a little surprise what you unearth along the way. So I hope I've killed the past 46 minutes for you. Hope I've managed to pass that time. I hope I've managed to disengage you from the crazy out there. Go and engage in the crazy again if you want, but I would love it if you could just kind of hang on for 14 minutes and come on over to Discord or to tfrlive.com or TalkStream Live, where I'm going to be live with Jimmy Jeans, the
sarcophagi.
He was either going to be the sarcophagi or the Doesn't fit Jimmy, though. That's the last thing Jimmy is, right? He's definitely no social justice warrior. So, folks, thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow, a pre-show, a longer one, hopefully, because Anne will kick my tuchus out of bed in the morning. She'll get me up early. We'll put together a good one. Thank you for being here today. I'll be back soon on the other side with the main KBS. Keep it real. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. What crazy music is this, Dave? Dave, come on, man.